Welcome back to the Elli-Yacht on this somewhat snowy day in Seattle. We're going to be talking about something that we get a lot of questions on from viewers, and that is, what apps do we use on our phones on the boat?
We're going to cover 10 apps that we use, plus one bonus one that might surprise you at the end. So we're going to break it down into 3 different categories. We have vessel information, navigational information, and our weather apps.
That's right. So welcome aboard. Join us on the Elli-Yacht as we realize our 5-year plan with the kids grown up, moved out, graduated from college. We take the dog, sold everything, and kitted out the boat so we can cruise the Pacific Northwest, all while living and working in the heart of Seattle.
So the first app that we're going to go over is our Victron Connect. And that one is a free app that manages our battery system.
That's right. Before we had the Elli-Yacht and had this app and the system underneath it, I was always running around trying to figure out what's the voltage on the batteries, what's the state of charge, how much more time do we have when we're on the anchor, do I need to start the gen set? It kind of took the fun out of the trip. With the Victron app, I'm able to see with Bluetooth what the state of charge is for every one of our battery banks. I'm also able to see what's our draw from our inverter. So it helps out a ton. And the nice part is with this one, we can auto start our gen set from the phone as well, which is pretty cool. And not only be able to do that while we're on the boat, but we can do it when we're away from the boat, which is pretty good peace of mind, especially when you're out traveling. You can tell, has the boat tripped a breaker? If it did, is it drying off the batteries? Is the genset going to start as a backup? Any of those types of things, we already know. And if we want to change the configuration when we're away, we can do that too. So a pretty handy app that really has made life a lot better.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Our second app is our Govee Home, which controls our lighting.
This is kind of a slick one. Basically, we were able to buy some lighting strips off of Amazon. One of probably the best features that we have when we put these in our bridge, in our galley, and in our master stateroom is the one that Carlin likes the most.
I like the one in the stateroom. We replaced it with the rope lighting that was already there, but we can set it to when we want to wake up in the morning, and that helps me because it's very dark in Seattle, so helps me with my SAD in the winter time, so I can feel like the sun's coming up a little bit before I wake up, and we can control that.
Yeah, way better than an alarm clock. It's a really reasonable upgrade, and we'll put a link down below to those LED lights, and the app is free.
Number 3 is our Arlo security camera.
Yeah. So whether you live on a boat, whether you just have it in a marina or you're traveling away from it, there's always that constant nagging in the back of your head. Is there a leak in the bilge? Has somebody broke into the boat? Did I remember to turn off those lights? With the Arlo cameras, we are able to look on our phone at any given time to be able to see real time what's going on. The recordings go up into the cloud, so you don't have to worry about storage and taking care of all of that on your boat. It's all up in the cloud. If somebody steals your camera, you still have the footage of them stealing the camera. It's kind of nice because you're just able to keep an eye on the boat, and it's really, it helps out a lot. You hear something go bump in the night, you never have to get out of bed.
And they're battery operated, or you can plug it in as well. So you have both options depending on where you want to put the camera on your boat.
Yeah.
And it's a free app with the purchase of the Arlo, and again, this one is a great one. We highly recommend it, and we'll put a link for that one as well.
Yeah, and you can buy them refurbished or brand new. We'll put both links down below. Pretty easy upgrade.
Number 4 is the Pumpout Nav, which is a free app that we use and have found very handy.
That's right. When we're at the marina, our black water tank, we have it pumped out weekly by Pumpout Seattle. That's run by Katie Wixom. She's awesome. She comes by every week, pumps us out. It works great. However, when we leave, we're on our own, which isn't that big of a deal, but finding a pump out station can be a little difficult, and nothing is worse than showing up to a pump out station and finding out that it's out of order. So this app is primarily for the West Coast. I think there are some, I think Vermont, that are also showing on this as well, so check your state. But it's pretty slick. It really helps you be able to track down and plan all of your routes, where you should be able to pump out. We can usually live on the boat for about 2 weeks on the anchor without having to pump out, but when it comes time, it's always nice to know exactly where we can go to get that done.
Number 5 is BoatUS. And simply put, this is pretty much AAA for boaters.
That's right. So if we ever have to get towed, if we run out of fuel for our dinghy, our main boat, any of those types of things, all we need to do is log into the app and they'll come out and save us. Now that is obviously a paid subscription. We have the Platinum one, which means that we can get towed both in freshwater and in saltwater, and we have the maximum distance for towing so that we can get back into Lake Washington to our preferred service providers. The other one is, though, it does have discounts. So it has discounts for different marine services, moorage, all kinds of different things. Totally worthwhile as far as that goes, and that's why it lands on our list of our top apps.
Number 6, switching into our navigational apps, is the Navionics Boating app.
That's right. This thing it's a must-have for boaters. It used to be back in the day, you didn't even have routing and maps. You had to buy like a handheld Garmin, and all it had was waypoints. Nowadays, you can get multifunction displays like we have with our Raymarine Axioms. They're incredibly expensive, and even though they have auto routing on them, it takes time to be able to set them up, to be able to create a route, and you have to be right there in front of the multifunction display. That's where Navionics comes into play. This thing's pretty slick. Not only can you do all of your auto routing to set up your routes, you can also use it for backup navigation. So if our navigation systems went down, we would have it on our phone. In fact, when we first bought the boat and we ran it back from the San Juans to Lake Washington, we didn't have the charts on our multifunction displays, so we had to use Navionics. So it's a great example of where we were able to use it. And then the third thing is, it used to be just super expensive, obviously, to put multifunction displays onto a boat, so you never had those things on your dinghy. Nice part is, with Navionics, this is our primary navigation that we use. Now what does it have? It has things like what's the speed that the vessel's going, when you set up your auto routes, if you put in all the information about your boat, like how fast that it cruises, how much fuel it consumes, it actually tells you how fast you're going to be able to get to your destination. It takes into account the different tides as well as the currents. So it's a great tool, especially if you're a sailboater or if you're on a trawler. You can really plan your trip and make sure that the currents are with you in your travels, and that can cut off hours sometimes in getting to where you want to go. So it's a really nice application, and one of the last bonuses about it is once you set up your auto route on your Navionics, most multifunction displays, whether it's Garmin, Simrad, or Raymarine like we have, you can actually upload that route to your multifunction display. So you can do all your planning away from your systems. You don't have to have them on. Make a lot of decisions about that and set up all of your routes, and then just upload them to your system. So this one, like I said, it's really a must-have. We've enjoyed it a ton. This one does cost money though, but completely worth it.
100%. Number 7 is Anchor Pro.
That's right. So how many times have you been on the anchor or on the hook and you're trying to sleep at night, it's kind of gusty out, and you really can't sleep? Are you dragging? That's the one that, you always worry about. Are you going to hit another boat? Are you going to wash ashore? All those things that you don't want to have happen. They can really chew into your sleep, which makes, quite frankly, anchoring not fun. Now, a lot of multifunction displays already have anchor alarms on them, but that does mean you have to keep the system on all night. So if you don't have a lot of battery power, that can be a concern as well. The other thing is, if the alarm goes off, you have to run up to the bridge and now decipher what the heck is going on. Are you already on shore? How far have you gone? Etc. Now, with Anchor Pro, you can basically leave this on your phone. You set where the anchor has dropped. You can set the distance of how far you want to be able to swing, depending upon what the scope of the road that you have out is, whether or not the tides are going to swing significantly during the night. It's very customizable. There's a free version of it, which has ads and those types of things that you would expect. There's also a pro version of it that helps you be able to look at your anchor track. I personally think that's worth it, so that if it goes off in the middle of the night, or if it hasn't even gone off, you can just roll over in bed if you want to take a look. You can see exactly where the boat is swinging, and you have a really good idea of what's going on with the boat. So this one, for just peace of mind alone, is worth its weight in gold.
And now we're going to switch to our weather apps that we have on our phone. And the first one is the Windy app.
Yeah, I really like this app. The reason is not only does it show what the forecast for the wind is, and it has a free version, you also have a paid version. The paid version gives you hourly forecast, whereas the free one is only 3-hour increments, and you can get an extended forecast with the paid version as well, although as we all know, extended forecasts can be a little dodgy, but it is good for planning. What I really like about this app is it has a really nice visual as far as the forecast of what the wind is going to look like, but it also has a bunch of detail you can drill into, like what are the swells, what are the spacing of the swells, are there wind waves involved, are there more than one swells that are going to be coming at you, and what are the directions of those, as well as what the wind is. So it gives you a really nice overview, and then you can obviously scroll through the forecast to see how it's going to change during the day. So this one just comes in really handy to do any planning around travel. It's one of our go-tos.
Number 9 is Dark Sky, which is one of John's favorite apps.
Yeah, I do like it. It's really nice because you can see the week at a glance. You can see what the sunrise is and sunset for the day. The other nice part is it actually shows you if it's going to start raining, and it gives you a nice forecast within a matter of an hour. It'll also give you alerts that if the rain is going to start within 10 minutes, and it's spot on. I've always been really impressed about the very short-term weather forecast on it, and it helps, especially if you're working on the boat. You don't want it to get wet if you need to pull materials in and those types of things. It works out really well for that. I'd say the other thing that we really like about it is all you have to do is click on any given hour within a day, and it gives you a ton of information in the forecast. So it has things like
You've got temperature, you've got cloud cover, humidity, precipitation, sunrise, sunset, wind, visibility, pressure, UV index, and the moon.
That's right, and on the wind it shows you obviously what the sustained wind and what the gusts are as well. But it's just kind of nice to have that at your fingertips instead of having to dig around in a bunch of different areas. Completely worth it.
Number 10 is Marine Weather App.
Yeah, this app is quickly becoming my favorite forecasting app. And the reason is it not only has all of the NOAA weather pieces that I've become familiar with if you use NOAA a lot. It's got a ton of information on their webpage, but it's a web page and it's a little clunky to use. So this is a really nice user interface. It tends to tell you all the information you would expect to see from NOAA. What are the wind directions, what are the wind waves going to be associated with that time. It's great as far as that goes, but it also has buoy information. So not only does it have that forecast info, but it also shows you what the current weather conditions are for a particular buoy location. And that means, where is the tide at? What is the swell? What are the wind waves looking at? And as well as what are the actual winds doing? So a ton of insight, and you can really make a lot of what I'll call game day decisions with this app as you're going out. So I love this one. Again, it has a free version and it also has a pro version. The pro version just gives you a lot more detail with multiple forecasts, 8-day forecasts that can be very valuable as well. So I think it's worth the extra couple bucks on an annual basis to be able to go premium on that one. But like I said, that one is quickly becoming my favorite weather app, which leads us to the BoatUS app.
The last one is the BoatUS app that we were talking about, which is John's favorite, which on the iPhone and Android, it's the Notes app.
That's right. Kind of silly. You would think notes. What's so great about that? But when you're on a boat, you better be a list maker. It's kind of like piloting an aircraft. You always want to have a checklist. If you're leaving the dock, if you're arriving at the dock. The nice part about this Notes app is I can share these checklists with Carlin, so she can update them, modify them. I can see all the changes as well. And then we can be on the same page as we're going through and prepping the boat to leave, come back, weigh the anchor, whatever it might be. We can go through and actually check off each one of the steps so we know whether or not somebody has already taken care of that particular step on the checklist.
It's invaluable.
It really is. It's not super sexy, but boy, if there's one that I use more than any other app, it's the Notes app. So we hope you enjoyed our list of apps and why we use them. We'd love to see down below in the notes, which apps do you use? Which ones have been the most valuable? And if you disagree with any of the ones that we have, we'd love to hear about it.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Take care.